Okay. Why am I... Hi guys, this is the Artistry and I'm Jenny. Today I have my great friend Dolly here with me and we are making felt ornaments.
Hi, I'm Dolly. Thank you for having me, Jenny. I am going to make this heart. If you can see this, it's a felt stuffed heart.
So she's going to be making this heart and I'm doing a Avenger ornament line where like I've done Iron Man already and I'm going to be showing you how to make a Captain America ornament.
So I will get started. Wanted to go over the supply list. I will just read off of the supply list. You will need a thread and needle. I use this DMC floss, if you can see here. Need scissors. I use a cardboard. I just used any scrap cardboard and I cut out this little simple heart. You have a water-soluble marking pen and some felt pieces and some stuffing. And I'm not talking about turkey stuffing. I'm talking about this stuffing.
Sorry guys, I think my air conditioning is a little bit louder than I thought it was going to be. I'll turn that off in a minute. Um, so I usually hand make my templates as well. I'll draw them out. But for those who don't like to draw them out, you can just go online and print something out. I found this online. Unfortunately, my printer is almost out of ink, so it's kind of hard to see. But yeah, don't have to draw it. You can always print it out. Keep it simple.
Yes, that's a great point. You can free draw a heart or just cut out a shape that you like from the internet or have someone else draw it for you.
Now, if we end up having enough time, I'm also going to be making this Hulk hand, but this one is a little more difficult to make, so it really just depends on whether or not we have time left.
And likewise, if we have little more time, I will show you guys how to make this heart, a star. And again, it just is very simple. You can freehand draw this and cut it out or use a picture from the internet.
Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I'm going to be using my template, and my first color is red. So I'm just going to use my the water soluble or disappearing ink to draw around the template. And if you don't have this pen, you can always just pin down your template and cut around it as well. That's something you can do if you don't have the pen.
And what I am doing here is I have drawn out my heart on this green felt. Sorry, you cannot see it very well. It's a little faint. Because my heart is two-dimensional, front and back, I'm going to overlap two pieces of felt and then just cut out the shape of my heart. I think there is a song, Shape of My Heart by Sting.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyway.
You gonna sing it for us?
No, we like our viewers and watchers. So I can cut this, or I've simplified and I have already, I will demonstrate here, I have cut two pieces of heart-shaped felt, if you can see, and we will start sewing them together. Felt is really good because you don't have to, it sticks to itself, so therefore you don't have to fuss with it too much, and you can just pin it in place. I'm just pinning the two layers together like this, and I will now get some thread and needle and start sewing the heart. I think, oh, there it is. I thought the needle and thread were playing hide and seek with me.
Yeah, I do like felt a lot too because I feel like it's got cleaner edges and you don't have to worry about it fraying.
Yes, it's nice. That is one of my nice part too, where it has the clean finished look and you don't have to worry about finishing the edges. I will show you on this how, see, the edges are so nice and they have not been finished.
So I have cut out my one side of my ornament, and I need to also cut out the back side. So I'm just going to pin that and cut around it just to do the back. Now I'm going to be cutting each layer and only making this design on the front. It's up to you if you want to also do the design on the back. I'm only going to be doing it on the front. So I'll be cutting after this piece. I'm only going to be cutting one piece of every other piece. If you want it on the other side as well, you'll have to cut two of each piece.
On my heart, I wanted to demonstrate this part. As you can see this heart, I am going to be sewing a running stitch all around the edges of this heart in this manner. The gap in between the two pins is what I'm going to keep open so you can put the stuffing from there and then sew that part. So I am going to now start sewing a running stitch from here going down to the corner bottom of the heart and come around. So I will start doing that, and once that is done, then we will stuff the stuffing and then finish the heart. Now, also, I love making these hearts because they're colorful. I've made a few other hearts that you can see here. They're just lots of different colors, and you can do lots of different fun things with it. Just give it as a present. I think there's so much nice value in making something by your hand that is meaningful to you or someone else.
Absolutely. And I was trying to think when I was trying to figure out what ornament to make, I was like trying to think what I might hang on my Christmas tree or just something that I would like to have. I'm a fan of the Avenger movies, so I thought it'd be fun just to make a couple ornaments with that theme in mind.
Yes, that, and I think this has a multi-purpose. You can give this as on a gift wrapped present. You can, if there it's an Avenger fan or somebody that likes hearts, you can always give this as a present to them. Put it right on the gift, tape it, and I think that would be also a very nice touch. Also, you can the Jenny, this ornament, you can also hang it on a doorknob or
Oh,
some
yeah,
little
for
special
sure.
place where.
Or even in your car.
Yes, I like that. I might put a heart in my car because I have a common car, so now I will know the car with the heart's my car,
That's
right?
true.
Identify my car.
Okay, so for this ornament, for the Captain America one, I'm going to move on and cut out this silver part. Now, if you're going to be making multiple, like say you're going to be doing 10 of these, you want to be cutting all your pieces out first because I'm actually going to cut this template and use it. So I'm cutting the red out now and I'm just going to use the silver to measure my silver felt.
Now I'm finishing the sewing the heart. What I do is I tend to take a contrasting color. I have taken blue floss, DMC cotton floss, on this pink heart. You could use the same color if you don't want to see the running stitch, or use contrasting. It's really up to you.
Okay, so I have the red cut off now and just the silver, and I'm going to put that on my felt and I'm going to draw around it again. And this time I'm only making one of these because I'm not putting it on the back.
Now these hearts, really, you can make any shape. You can make it as big as you like. I have some scrap cardboard piece. I usually save them. They come in so handy. Or you can at your arts and crafts store buy this plastic template. That also works good, especially if you are going to be making these more frequently. That way, once you have these templates cut out, then you can use them again and again, and you don't have to spend the time cutting the template out. That's always a nice thing to have as well. Now the felt, they come in different thickness. Some felt is very thin. I like to buy felt that has a medium weight. That way your ornaments can come out nice and sturdy.
Okay, so I have cut out my silver piece. It looks good. So I'm going to move on to the next red layer. So I'm going to cut this silver off now.
And as you can see, I'm just sewing here, sewing along in this running stitch on this heart. It is coming along nicely. I'm just going back and forth, just doing my running stitch, tugging at the thread, not pulling too hard so that my heart shape does not get distorted. There's lots of different things you can do with these hearts. If you have many made, you can make a garland. You can hang them in a horizontal line on a thread or a ribbon, and you can hang it behind the door somewhere where you can just bring color into the room and just have a nice little touch.
Okay, I have my next layer drawn out. It's red again, and I'm just going to cut that out.
I like the silver and the red color.
Oh yeah, I
do
too.
Makes me so happy. I like red.
Yeah, I know. I was like, am I going to need to buy more red felt? Because I thought it might be out, but
Sometimes true red is hard to find. That is like a really pretty true red. I think I left my red heart at home. Oops. So now I am almost done stitching this running edge across the edge of the heart, as I mentioned. And so I've done this where you see the running stitch and I've left this open. Now we will start stuffing
I like that. I love the contrast
Yeah.
of the thread.
I like that too. I feel pink and a little bit of blue. Here is the stuffing. This stuffing can be, you can get it at a Joann's or your arts and crafts store. It's like a polyfill. Again, make sure you tell those people that are helping you that I want stuffing, not turkey stuffing, stuffing. They will know what you mean. I always like to joke with that. Now what you want to do is you want to, when you stuff it, you want to make sure, I'm pointing this way, see this, you want to stuff it in this edge and then here. You have to kind of work it with your finger to make sure that all the corners and curves have the stuffing in it.
And I am now moving on to the blue, so I'm going to cut off this red and then draw that onto my blue felt and cut that out.
This is a nice little touch. You can always take something sharp like scissors or chopsticks and then kind of help this stuffing in place. You can always do that. Just take your time with it and play with it and make sure that you want it as poofy as you would like. Get it stuffed, and now we are giving life to this heart. So I am going to start now sewing and finishing this edge now that the stuffing is in the heart. I want you to see this. Yeah, this is fun. I like doing this. I can make lots of little hearts. It's fun to give as presents too. Certain
yeah.
people love it. Some people can't believe that I did this with my hands.
Yeah, and it's a good way to save money because
Indeed.
presents get really expensive,
Expensive.
and these handmade gifts are just really nice because people enjoy them. It shows that you put the time and effort into it,
Yeah,
and they're fun.
and I think they're so meaningful. It's nice to just give a piece of your time and your creativity. I say I have hyper hands. I always like to, even if I'm watching television, sometimes I will cut out the heart or be sewing something, and I enjoy that.
Okay, my last part is this star. This star is actually silver for his actual shield, but I think I'm going to make it white because I feel like it would look better on a white felt. So I'm just going to cut out that star and then use it as a template on my white felt.
Very nice. I like your layered shapes that are coming together, the
Thank you.
blue and
I was almost thinking it
silver
might
and
be
red.
too thick, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
Yes. Now I am almost done stuffing this heart. As you can see, I have stuffed it, and now I am going to just work the running stitch across and hide my end of the thread so I can then cut it out and done with this heart. Really liking this pink color.
Yeah, I like that color too.
You can always put little beads, sequins on these hearts. Always add your little personal touch and meaning to it. That's usually also very nice. And I am going to now move all these hearts so you can see this heart right here is complete, and I will cut the end of the thread here and hold up this heart to you. So here is the completed little stuffed pink heart with blue thread. Now we have a couple options. As you can see, this star, I just included little floss to use it and hang the star with floss. Or this heart, I used ribbon. You can use any thread, ribbon, and be creative and use that to anchor your shape.
Go get my ribbon. I forgot to bring that.
I have some ribbon here.
No worries. I have
Yes.
this one
Oh,
that
yes, that, yes. Ooh, I
I
like
have
that
some upstairs.
blue teal color.
Oh, this one? You know what's
Yeah.
funny? I don't even know where I got this. I found this in my scraps, and which is really nice. You don't always have to go out and buy something. You can just use your scraps, save money.
Yes, I think that is such a great point, especially us crafters that like to. There are times when I have been, I call craft collecting, where I have so much ribbon, thread, that it's just nice to do a project and not have to go out and buy stuff. You have everything. That way, you're not spending money and you're just using everything you have and being resourceful. That's a great point. I like using up all the stuff I have. Now also I will start what I am going to do now. I want to show you there's different colors of felt. This was a hand painted dyed felt. I just like that because it has a neat little variegated look.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
like that.
It almost, yeah. Did you dye
Yeah.
this?
No, I
Oh.
bought it like that. I
Oh,
wish I
wow.
did.
Cool.
They sprinkled color on it.
Yeah, it looks like kind of like a tie-dye
Yes.
feel. Okay, so I've got all my pieces cut out now. I'm going to be sewing this on my sewing machine, but you're welcome to hand sew it or even hot glue it. It's totally up to you. And I'm going to start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start layering. I'm going to first sew this gray one on, then the red one, then the blue one, and then the white one, but you can obviously do it in another order, do the white one first. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to start showing you, once I have this first one down, I'll show you, but what you want to do is make sure the back piece is set aside. You don't want to sew that one down yet because you need to stuff it. You just want to make sure that you place it and it looks good, and then you're going to pin it. And once you pin all the way around this way, you're going to also sew, and you're going to try to sew kind of close to the edge, but not to the point where it falls off the silver. And I'll show you what that looks like once I'm done.
And what I'm going to do now is, what I have done, I think we have so many wonderful hearts here, colorful hearts. I think I'm going to make a horizontal garland. So what I did was I cut out about a yard of the floss, cotton floss, and again, this can be ribbon or floss, any type of thread, it's really your preference. And we are going to thread this in a needle. Get my glasses on here too. Sometimes this floss is so thick, so bear with me while I sew this. It's always nice to have a needle with a bigger eye because this floss is so thick. Let's see. I've got one floss in, and I am pretty confident in myself that I can get the other one in here too. So we have now done this. What I'm going to do is I will just with my hand make a couple little knots, square knots, right in place, so then my heart does not just slide right off the edge of this thread here. And let's get started. I think I'm feeling that we should have purple at the bottom. So I'm going to put in the needle at this edge and bring it out through this little corner in the middle. So I will show you how I'm going to do that. Is you have to sort of maneuver and pinch the heart and put the needle in through the entire heart. Now I'm finding that it's going to be a little tough, but let's see, I think my needle is too thick.
What are you doing?
Trying to
close it up.
Make the garland. I'm trying to pin it in, but let me try and do that. Oh wow, I'm trying to put this in all the way so I can string it on the thread. So I may have to switch needles if this doesn't work. I don't want to rip the felt.
Oh, so that's how you do it.
This is how, yeah.
The way I do it is, so I put my ribbon just here, and then I sew back and forth.
Right.
And then I sew it closed.
Only hanging it.
Oh, you're doing the garland. Oh, yeah, that's right. Garland. Okay. So, got it. Yes. Okay.
So stay tuned. I may have to get pliers, but wait, pliers are not on the supply list. So plan B. I think we are going to reduce this to one strand of floss and then try that with a skinnier needle. I bet you that will work just fine. But let me do that.
So I'm done sewing the gray on the red. If you can see there, I only left a little space just to make sure that it's not going to fall off. And I used a gray thread, but you can use contrast thread if you want. It's totally up to you. So I am now going to sew the red piece on, and I will swap out to red thread. I'm just going to position this to the way I like it, pin it down, and then sew around it just like I did with the gray.
So now what I have done is I have changed my needle and I have used a much skinnier needle, and hopefully that will pass through this heart easier, and voila, it did. So what we're going to do is, you will see, so now I have this heart that is just hanging on this, and I don't like this straggly little thread here, so I'm just going to cut it and kind of hide the heart that way. And then what I will do is I will put this other heart through, and pretty soon you will see this little horizontal garland that is being made as we speak. Look at this. I think I'm going to close this face and just make it like this. So there we have two hearts hanging now, just like that, one on top of each other. And I think we should now bring in some pink. So maybe we will, I always like to use odd numbers, whether 3 or 5. I think 7 might be too much, but I am going to put 5 today. Number of the day is 5. So we will have, you can see, we have 3 hearts hanging here, and I will put in a couple more. Maybe we've done purple, green, pink. I think we will add a blue and another pink. I think we can do that. Or I like gray. This is a dark gray. Maybe looks like almost black. Charcoal gray, I think it's called, or charcoal black. We will bring that in and kind of tie all these together. So here is the blue. This thinner needle works so much better. Now you can also do a variation of putting beads in between the hearts. You can put knots, so therefore there your hearts don't move too much. But really, this is taking shape. I have 4, and we will
Very
have
nice,
more.
Dolly.
Yes, coming together.
That is looking awesome.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I think I'm getting close to being done here. I've sewed down this red part, and now I've got like a contrast of the red, silver, and then red again. And I feel like it's coming out well. What I do sometimes is if I've gone a little bit under here, like as you can see, I might trim this just a little bit to clean up those edges. But I'm just going to keep moving along for now, and now I'm going to position and sew down my blue piece.
That is nice.
Thank you.
Now, when you put the blue, then you'll put the star on the blue, right?
Yes.
I wonder if it's easier for you to sew the star on the blue first.
I can do it that way, yes.
Right, either way.
Either way. I mean, I could, regardless, I have to change out my thread now. So, yeah, maybe I will. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think that's a better idea. Well, let me think. The only thing now that I'm thinking about is if I sew my blue on later to here, the blue is going to show a little bit on the white star, which I don't really want.
Makes sense.
So I'm actually gonna sew the blue on first.
That makes sense. But alternatively, maybe I wonder, and I'm not a big sewing machine person, but I wonder if you sewed with nylon thread, that you wouldn't have to change colors and it would blend into the fabric, the felt.
That's possible. I've never tried that, Molly. That's a good. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I think need to always, also another thing I like about making these craft projects is always creativity. You find something new or different that you haven't thought about. So it's nice. Your piece is coming along really nicely.
Oh, I realized that I don't have thread, and I might need to try that nylon thread because I didn't realize there was thread that doesn't show.
Right.
So I don't have blue thread that's this color, and I'm going to use a contrast color on this piece. I'm just going to use white and see how that turns out.
So I now have, as you can see, 5 hearts hanging, and I am going to finish this off by, what I will do is this end of the thread, I am going to just make a little loop about how far I want it to hang, and then I will make a 2-layered little loop where I can hang this on a doorknob or, you know, one of your hooks where you hang your clothing. It can also hang on a hanger, but I have looped this around and I am going to quickly tie a knot here and maybe make a couple knots so it is a little sturdy, and that way I've tied a couple knots and cut it out, and voila, we have our 5 hearts hanging here. To see a little close up, these are little hearts. They look nice and colorful and cheery. So what I am going to do next is I will start doing, I think I showed this at the beginning. Here's a little heart. It reminds me of a carrot because it's a orangish carrot color with a green top. Bugs Bunny, or I don't know, Peter Rabbit. Anyway, and now I think I am going to start working on a little star and sewing that together. Let me just show you here on our little platform all the little hearts that we have gathered. These are the little hearts, and now let's get started on the little star. Now also I was at Joann's a little while ago, and you can get felt that has sequins on it, that has polka dots on it. It's really, they've got very creative. I, of course, like just the simple ones. Oh, nice. I can't see that.
You know what? You can't even really see the thread very much.
Yeah. I can't even tell if it's, blue or white color thread. Oh, it's white, but yeah, you can barely.
Yeah, you can barely see it.
That looks very nice.
So it's coming along. Last part is my star. So this one's going to take a little bit longer because I'm going to have to sew all along the edge there. And yeah, so that will take a little bit longer, but let's see how that turns out.
Precision sewing. That is
oh,
impressive.
Thank you.
I like it. See,
I'm glad you think so.
I like to hand sew it, that way I feel I can control where the stitch goes better, because I think I am out of control with the sewing machine. But for the record, I'm not out of control driving the car. I drive the car much better, but I don't drive the sewing machine too well. So I will. Now the star, it's a little tricky, obviously, when you are joining in all the little, here I'm holding up the star to you with the edges. It has 5 points, and so it is tough to make stuffing in the star. Make stuffing in the star, that kind of sounds weird, but okay. Well, what you would do is you would sew all the edges together and just keep one big V shape like that open. We'll stuff the star and then finish that last. So that is how we are going to do that. And since I already have this blue thread strung in my needle, I'm just going to use contrast. Contrast all the way. Orange star, blue thread. Now really it's up to you how and where you start. You can pin the star together. I would probably recommend pinning the star together because it has so many edges and corners that we want to make sure that it doesn't move. So I am simply going to take my little basting pin and put it in a couple of the corners. That way the two layers stay anchored together. Let me show you that. It's the two layers are together. And now I will start sewing the two edges together. People have said that you can do blanket stitch as well. Blanket stitch tends to be a little harder. I wanted to keep this simple. When I make this, I just make it to have fun and relax and have a good feeling. So I try not to take on difficult tasks because then I will get frustrated and put it away and put it in the stash and I will not see it for a long time. So I like to just have fun and have easy projects that I can finish and have results immediately. Talk about instant gratification.
Yeah, I'm totally different. I like to torture myself.
I aspire to be like you someday, Jenny. When you will call me, you will say, "What are you doing?" And I'll say, "I'm torturing myself. I'm doing a project that Jenny would do." But that is also very good, Jenny. I admire you for that because you have some amazing stuff. And when you show me that, I just get so happy. And I'm like, wow, you did that?
But there are a pile of things that I've put away that I will never return to, and I probably should just get rid of them.
Yes. Speaking of getting rid of them, it took me 1 hour to take out 5 pieces of clothing out of my closet to get rid of and part with. But I'm feeling good and I'm making progress little by little. So you never know, I might become adventurous in my craft projects. Now let me show you here as I'm moving along. Here is the little star with the little blue running stitch along the edges. So it is coming along. We are working on that. The star, of course, takes a little longer than the heart because the heart is just simple, where the star has so many little corners and edges, so it's a little longer.
Tell me about it. Yes. I just finished my star. That took a little while because I had to sew down each corner and pivot at each corner. You know, lift your foot, pivot, and then start sewing again. But I got that down. I feel like it looks good, so I'm happy with it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start closing it up. I'm going to match up the back to this, and I'm going to sew along that edge, and I'm going to leave a little gap, maybe a couple inches, maybe 2 or 3 inches. You just want to make sure you're going to be able to stuff the ornament. So I'll probably leave about 2 inches.
That looks so nice.
Thanks.
We initially thought we're doing different stuff, but ironically, we worked on our stars together. Differences and similarities in life and crafts.
Now, I'll be right back. I need to go grab my ribbon.
Okay, and I will make progress, hopefully a lot more progress along this star. So it is coming along, as you can see, and I'm just quickly sewing this so then I can start stuffing. Now, to stuff a star like this that has so many points, I would recommend having I gently use this needle, I'm sorry, not needle, scissors, the sharp edge of the scissors to stuff the corners and make sure my stuffing goes in all the points. You can use a chopstick or, another sharp little object like a pencil that has a edge where you can get into all these little corners. So there's lots of different ways. Whatever works best for you, whatever you are most comfortable with, is how you should do that. And also practice. If you make one and you don't feel good, you would be surprised if you just stick to it, make another one, and it will just come out so well. So be patient and gentle to yourself, right, Jenny?
Absolutely. Be patient with yourself. Sometimes you mess up, you got to get that seam ripper out.
Or hide the project and start over again. It's all okay. Life is beautiful. Now I am surprised I just have 2 points left, so making progress. But I am soon to be running out of thread here, so I'm going to introduce to this project 2 different colors of thread in the same star. Hey, nature's not perfect. Why should my star be perfect?
Exactly. I think when it's a little off, it almost gives it character.
Yes, you are right. Yes, it almost kind of gives that personal touch. I always like that.
I'm going to make my ribbon 10 inches long. I think that's the size of this, but do you think that's a little short?
I think so. We might want to make it
Maybe
a
12?
Little, yeah, because this would probably not go
Or was that 8?
on your rear view mirror.
It would not. It probably wouldn't fit on the rear view mirror.
Measure this and times 2.
Yeah.
And maybe you would lose about an inch in the hiding it in the ornament. So
yeah, something you want to think about is measuring out your ribbon so it can go where you want to put it.
Exactly.
And
I wonder if even,
I think, go ahead.
If you do 10 inches, that way half is 5.
Mm-hmm.
And if you lose about 1 inch in hiding in the ornament, so it's about 4.5.
Yeah. This one is 8, so it is kind of short, I think.
Right.
So I think I'm just going to go, let's just go 11.
11, yeah, I think so.
Odd number.
It's always better to make it longer than shorter.
Yes.
Because you can see what I've done on my hanging part here. I've just made a little knot on this edge. That way you can adjust it. I can take the knot and make it down. That way it's smaller versus bigger. So really, yeah, like as we were talking before, trial and error. Sometimes, worst case, you could cut that out and put another little, right?
Exactly.
Or just add character and have 2 hangies, kind of like purses are, right?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I've decided to tie a little knot at the end of this. So I tied the knot, and I'm going to sew this down to the back piece first. I put the knot right here, and then I'm just gonna sew a couple times back and forth right along the ribbon. Not on the knot, but right next to the knot.
You just said it. I was thinking it. Not on the knot.
Not on the knot.
Did you tie the knot or not?
I did tie the knot.
Tongue twisters. Not. Okay, so as I got carried away talking, glad I'm not on the sewing machine. I sewed too much of the star, so now I need to go and rip it out. However, I will be able to just take my needle and pull out the little thread and just go back to where I need it to be. So not too bad. Just got some extra practice here. But now my thread is a little mangled up. Again, perfect demonstration of things gone wrong right as we're doing this. But we are going to salvage this. How, you ask? Let me show you. Cut it up and this will all work out. How are you doing, Jenny?
Good. I've sewn on my ribbon and went back and forth since this will probably get pulled on a little bit. So I wanted to make sure that's going to stay. And then now I'm closing up my star, figuring out, I want to make sure one of the points is at the top. Let's see, I think it looks probably the best.
I like that.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pointing.
So that one will be
Yes.
pointing at the top.
Pointing north, going
Yes.
north.
And so now I'm going to sew along here and leave just a gap open at the bottom.
That is nice. I like that.
Thank you.
I just love the red and silver.
Yes, it's very patriotic too. Like,
yes.
And who doesn't love Captain America, you know?
That is true. Like that. Now, what I am going to do is my star has been running stitched together. I will take out the little pins that I don't need, and I will reach into my turkey stuffing, in my stuffing, and as I was mentioning earlier, I'm going to take time, just work this into all the little points, and it helps to use a scissor, the sharp edge of the scissor to kind of work in and stuff all the little corners. Sometimes it helps if you just stuff little at a time. Each time just use little stuffing. That way you can kind of control and shape your star. So, hearts and stars. I think that's the theme for me for today. Hearts and stars. Hearts, stars, and stuffing. That'd be kind of neat name for a store. Hearts, stars, and stuffing.
Yeah,
I wonder how people come up with names. We should. I'd like to go into business of helping people name their restaurants. Hearts, stars, and stuffing. Okay. Now this is going to be a little tricky, but I can show you. See this stuffing coming out? I'm just going to work and with my hands keep sewing it together. I have run out of some thread, so now I am just going to I did have some more blue thread. Yay! We're just going to have a matching thread completed star and not any other color. I'm sure you guys are thinking, thank goodness. Okay, needle. Wow, it's coming along.
It's almost
there.
Almost
there.
there.
That is nice.
Guess I'm not going to have time for that whole candle. This took me a little longer than I thought.
That is nice.
Okay, so I've sewn, just like I said, all the way around this way, stopped here, left this gap, and now I am going to stuff this with the stuffing. Are you able to reach that?
Yes.
Thank you.
There's the stuffing.
And this is the same stuffing that Dolly was talking about, the polyfill.
Yeah, I like that stuffing. And one interesting thing about that stuffing is if it gets wet, it still, once it dries, it bounces back. So therefore you want to use stuffing and not cotton, because if you use cotton, then if it gets wet, it will shrink and kind of lose shape. Therefore the polyester stuffing. I don't know if you knew that, Jenny.
I did not
you
know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that you want to use that
Good
poly
to
stuffing.
know.
Or else your puffy hearts, if they get wet in the rain or something, you come out and you wonder what happened.
They turn into saggy hearts.
Exactly. Saggy flat hearts.
Okay,
Nice. I like the poofiness.
yeah, I'm trying to think, should I stuff it more?
I like it it gives it originality. Just this. If you stuff it too much, wonder if it would look like a ball. Yes,
you're right.
A ball. So.
Okay, so I'm not going to overdo it.
And I like it how you are working with your hands and fingers, just placing.
Yeah, you have to
stuffing even.
Push it out good. And yeah, make it even.
You definitely are showing patience there, and I think sometimes even though it may seem like it's too much, but just this little touches like this kind of help
putting
your
a little
project.
extra time. Yes. So I've stuffed it. I think I'm good. I'm going to close this up and I'm going to be done.
Yay. And I am trying to now. It's this cotton thread is, because it is quite thick, it becomes hard to sew it. Let's see. Let's try and cheat. Let's see if we have a needle here. Yay! I am going to finish the star with this little thread because I want to just finish this star. Or I can show you, demonstrate that once I finish this star, it's all stuffed. I am going to make it look like here is the one that still needs to have the edge stuffed up and finished. But when I am finished, I am going to have a star that will look like this and has a little floss. I just worked in the floss right as I was finishing the edge to just have it shown like this. So there you go, and that's a little star to go along with your hearts.
Nice. I love that. That is so cute.
Yes.
Look at that. Awesome.
Yeah. I think it could use yellow, but you can play with any colors and make it.
All right, Dolly. I too am done.
Yay.
I closed that up, and I'm going to. It's a little off right here, so I'm going to just trim that.
Right. But the points of your stars look so good, and all the round edges. That does take a little patience and practice, but you did a very nice job to just do it on the fly. And
I have to say, yeah, this actually, I thought this one would be way easier and take less time. I think this one took a little more time than this one, actually, surprisingly.
I wonder because of the points of this
all the layers and the points.
Yes.
So yeah, but I'm super happy with my ornaments and can't wait to do the Hulk one. I will do that later, and I will post that if you guys want to see it. And I'm probably going to do a Thor one as well. I just haven't figured out what that's going to look like. I'm thinking maybe a hammer with lightning on it. But if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to message me. Send me a message. I'm always up for any interesting art projects.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Jenny. This was so much fun.
I'm so glad you came.
5 hearts. So thank you. This was awesome. Thank you for watching, guys.
Yes, thank you so much for watching. And see you guys next time. Tomorrow I am going to be continuing to do some more acrylic pouring with resin this time. So hope to see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.
Bye.